This CD is a synopsis with brief snippets of the tunes interjected. Every musical number and some introductory dialogue can be heard on the 2 CDs containing the complete score. So, let's get started.
It's market day. Villagers try to prepare to sell their wares, while dancers try to dance, but each endeavor gets in the way of the other, with resultant spills and your assorted flying tackle. The Noah family enters, and all the talk is of Boaz, a.k.a. the Lion of War, one-time resident turned bad guy who left in a huff 30-odd years ago after Noah stole his woman. Well, Boaz back, and there's gonna be trouble. And wouldn't you know, in the middle of this distressed dialogue enters the Lion of War himself, accompanied by a small but dedicated band of thugs. He huffs and puffs and plans to take over his one-time home, and anybody who stands in his way, especially Noah, will be flattened. He and Noah each exit in opposite directions, leaving the frightened and confused villagers to wonder in whose camp, Noah's or Boaz's, would their best interest lie. They launch into We Are All Agreed.
We always sing in perfect harmony, though we each sing a different tune. It's true the words aren't the same, each song has got a different name, and though we all play by the rules, we each play a different game.
Verifying to all within earshot that indeed they agree on nothing.
Back at his home, Noah, both by reputation and in reality, a sayer of misinformative sooths, sings Smoke in the Air to his sons. He reveals his inner feelings of impending doom and, hedging his bets at the end of each verse, he concedes, "It's possible I might be wrong." His imaginings become increasingly dramatic and ultimately absurd as he finishes up. Fire and brimstone will rain down, destroying every single town. Every person will be stricken with this curse. From our hands the skin will shrivel, and our noses start to snivel. There'll be pestilence and plague, or even worse. For the locusts will descend, and with their talons they will rend the living flesh from off our bones. The signs are strong. All the frogs will lose their hair. We really haven't got a prayer. Of course. We know. It's possible you might be wrong.
Meanwhile, Boaz is feeling a testosterone surge as a result of A, bullying the little people, and B, seeing Rebecca again, the one that got away, and he sings the Lion of War to his men.
I plunder and pillage each hamlet and village, and none dare oppose me. I do as I will. The jackals are jealous, they're hungry, they tell us, but none join the feast till I've eaten my fill. Lion, hear me roar! I take from the rich, and I take from the poor. I am a tyrant right down to my core. I am the Lion of War.
A great deal of Boaz's belligerent style is bluster, as we discover later, but he does so enjoy flexing his muscles and stirring up his men.
Still smelling smoke and having overheard most of the boastful ravings of his wife's ex-suitor, Noah looks heavenward and asks God to help him with any or all of the problems he faces. He chides himself. "I'm such a jerk. What did I expect? A bright light from the sky and a clap of thunder?" Which is, of course, exactly what happens next. Smiling broadly, Noah looks up towards the light and the scene ends. Incidentally, the voice of God isn't heard by the audience until the show is nearly over.
2 of Noah's sons and their wives are tending the garden. Rachel, cockeyed optimist to the nth degree, sings of her joie de vivre in The Happiest Woman.
Who wouldn't envy me? Look at my life. Mother and friend, lover and wife. Everyone's healthy, there's nothing we need. I am a fortunate lady indeed.
Sister-in-law Ruth, next door, Miss no-nonsense, straight-ahead, everything is worse than it looks of the family, chimes in with her own verse while Rachel dances.
Let her pipe of her idyllic station, fully immersed in her sense of elation. She's the type for whom woe holds a thrill. Constantly cheerful, it makes me quite ill.
Simultaneous contrapuntal verses close the number as rollicking Rachel thrusts a blossom in Ruth's disapproving face.
Noah seeks out Rebekah after his encounter with the Almighty, and we learn the following. First, they are an attractive and loving couple, exceedingly compatible, funny, and cute. Second, God's appearance only added to Noah's trouble vis-a-vis a flood, and our hero is more conflicted and brimming with angst now than he was before. Third, Rebekah is comforting and wise and more than up to the task of seeing her beloved through the perilous times ahead. Her unflappable nature is heightened considerably by the fact, which will not come to light until late in Act 2, that her first contact with God came long before Noah's. Rebekah already knows what's going on. She reminds him of a song he sang to her when they were courting, "Follow Your Heart," that ultimately swayed her to choose him over Boaz for her husband. With her gentle urging, he sings it again.
When the choice before you is tearing you apart, you'll always do the right thing if you follow your heart.
She slyly suggests he should follow his own advice. When he demurs, she makes her own encouraging verse.
Never mind your worries, never mind the fear. Summon all the strength that you possess, and they will disappear.
And as he slowly sheds his own self-doubts, they join in a duet.
Both of us together, fated from the start, happily entwined in life and love, and never to part, knowing there is peace when you follow your
Somewhat emboldened by his chat with Rebekah, Noah gathers all the family together and springs the news. God says a disastrous flood's coming, world devastation. We alone will be saved, a lot of animals, and where's that old copy of Boat Building for Dummies? After fending off a multitude of questions, he launches into Two of Every Kind. Still in shock, but getting into the spirit of the thing.
Two of every kind, the scaly and the hairy, the goats and stoats and frogs and dogs, the mild, the meek, the merry. Everyone combined aboard this ship of shepherds, and every great cloud silver lined with two of every kind.
The others harmonize, enjoying themselves more and more.
Every fox has his vixen, every hart has got his hind, every wayward woolly ram has got his ewe.
That's the reason we're fixing to take two of every kind, but it isn't such an easy thing to do.
Until downright silliness takes over.
Pelicans and peacocks, rabbits and raccoons, scorpions and seahawks, beavers and baboons, peccaries and parrots,
Hippos, hounds, and hares,
flies, fleas and ferrets,
lions and tigers and bears,
a croak and grunts, crow,
growl, cluck,
moo, twitter, and howl.
To the conclusion.
reason has been undermined, and madness has been redefined. Because this voyage is designed for two of every
Weeks have passed. Boaz and friends, fed up with Noah's noisy construction project, want the villagers to help them burn it to the ground. They reluctantly agree. Fear is a great motivator. The would-be arsonists exchange a few fighting words with Noah's people, and as Boaz approaches the ark with a torch, he's struck by lightning and vanishes into a smoky cloud. The hostile crowd scatters amid hysterical shrieks, and the pounding rains begin. Realizing he hasn't a second to lose, Noah prepares to close up the ship. Hesitantly, approaching the ark, the 6 villagers and Boaz appear miraculously still alive and transformed into half animals. 2 cats, a couple of pigs, a rooster-hen duo, and a lion. They stagger dazedly up the gangplank and into the ark. Confused, Noah allows them all to pass, shrugs slightly, completes his work with the ropes, and pulls up the gangway.
Aboard the Ark now, a dream sequence in a darkened dormitory. Beautiful fantasy animals, all feathers and sequins, daintily awake sleeping children for the ballet of the beasts. At first a simple dance, then tumbling and gymnastic movements, culminating with the animals on trapezes swooping down, catching the children in midair. The beds hide trampolines. The children drag their bed linens as they fly. Yards of shimmering, vibrantly colored gauze and satin sail through the air. Even the half-animal villagers join in the fun. Then Boaz, the lion, suddenly enters the room, and all action freezes. Kids rush back to bed, animals hightail it, and our half-rooster lets out a rather pathetic cock-a-doodle-doo as he haughtily leaves. Awake now, the kids are called to breakfast, and all but Eliana dash out, eager to avoid the lion's presence. But unafraid, she engages him in conversation, and, deciding he is basically lonely, gives him her favorite doll to be his best friend, then dashes off to breakfast.
As Boaz leaves, he stalks past the transformed villagers. Even more than they dislike each other and their current living situation, they each hate the way they look. Why'd I turn out this way ensues, full of self-loathing.
Why'd I turn out like this? Could I be any more outrageous with this rhiner's protuberance affixed to what once was my face?
How can I steal a kiss? What sweet lady is so courageous as to contemplate nuzzling a skinny-legged creature whose copious feathers embody a plumid disgrace?
Insulting remarks.
No, really. Feathers become you, especially from the rear, dear. And I think it's perfectly all right for older women to wear bright colors.
A catwoman who's allergic to cats.
Achoo! Oh, for goodness sakes.
Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Nostrovia. Hey, she's allergic to herself.
Thank you all so much. Yeah.
Misplaced vanity and a big finish.
Splendid. He's so hot. He wants me, I know it. All right, from letter R. And someone please tell me I'm lost and forlorn.
I in no way resemble the me I was born.
I'm compelled here to say. I'm compelled here to say. I'm compelled here to say. Happy now? Yes. Why oh my dear, why did I this way?
The wives of Noah's 3 sons are the first to show signs of cabin fever. With the voyage into day 30-something, their despair takes shape in Will I Ever See the Sun?
Will I ever see the sun? Will I ever see it rising in the east? If this battle can be won, then the healing source of life will be released. Let this yearning in my soul clear the clouds and chase the teardrops from my heart. Make serenity my goal. Cleanse the sky and make the misty curtains part. Will I ever see the sun? Will I ever see the sun?
Nearly all souls aboard the Ark, animals, humans, and half-humans, are either bored, blue, or severely overworked because the animal population has been reproducing at an alarmingly heightened pace. A marching, sign-carrying horde of activists descends on Noah, demanding landfall, and when do they want it? Now. Noah responds with, "It could be worse."
It could be worse.
You think you've got it bad, my friend. I could relate some tales of torment that would stand your hair on end. It's not that bad. It's absolutely the reverse. I'm here to tell you guys that things could be much worse. He sometimes hinders his own efforts with an unfortunate faux pas. You can make a stately statue from a lump of clay in just one day, so it seems clear that whatever life throws at you, it is safe to say that you can make a silken purse out of an old sow's ear, while standing next to the female pig person. Undaunted, he continues, picking up a vision along the way. But wait, there's more. Apparently, operators are standing by, and if we order in the next 10 minutes, we can get an extra 6-month supply, a $29.95 value, absolutely free. Possible side effects include diarrhea, nausea, abdominal pain, leg cramps, skin rash, dizziness.
You're giving me a headache already.
Right. Headache, unwanted facial hair, and nosebleed. Call now. Supplies are limited. 1-800-555-1212. That's 1-800... You know, I think we're better off right where we are. As one person, the former angry mob is softening, inserting their own little bit along with the show's only tap dance.
Hallelujah, take us by the hand. We'll feel better when we're on dry land.
What the hell is he doing? What's on his feet?
Okay, follow me here.
I can't.
Get it.
That went pretty good, I
I
think.
think I'm getting the hang of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm terribly watch where you're stepping.
Okay, keep up here. It's the old Sinai slide.
It's going too fast.
Bringing it home, as it were, to a rousing finale.
It could be worse.
It could be worse.
Make sure you're fighting the right battle, or you might find you're floating up the creek without a paddle. Listen here. I'm quoting chapter, page, and verse. Think about the things I say. It'll all turn out okay. And remember that it could be
After the crowd has gone, half of What's Bugging Boaz finally comes out. Having deluded himself for years that his past had been stolen, not only Rebekah as a wife, but also his rightful destiny as head of the village, Boaz unleashes a tirade of accusations at Noah. Noah manages to calm the beast with large doses of the truth, that Noah had leadership of the village forced upon him when it became obvious that Boaz wasn't going to return. Begrudgingly, Boaz relents. Rebekah rushes in to tell Noah he's needed elsewhere, and in her turn, she employs logic, love, and a crystal-clear memory as she sings, "It Was Yesterday."
A touch, a smile is all that we need to dream for a while like children. We're so unaware of the game that we play.
To set him straight on the who was supposed to marry whom issue, approaching his feelings now with a somewhat enlightened point of view.
I was young, you were too. Such are the things that young people do, gladly straying, blithely playing a game we can't win.
Boaz and Rebekah share a waltz together, and then a duet.
While the future lies waiting, lo and behold, you find your voice. Visions are fading,
You and me,
colors and shading,
warrant free.
gently persuading.
Destiny
Destiny makes the final choice without regret.
Not what you'd planned.
We'll
Nothing
cherish the
till
past,
death do us
but
part.
won't
Might have spent.
forget. It was yesterday. A storm is beginning to make itself felt. While he is now more at peace with Noah and Rebekah, Boaz still has issues he needs to address. In a meaningful dialogue with his old friends, he confides in them his admiration for their mutual love and respect, confessing that years before he had, through his jealousy and pride, driven away the one woman who could have made a positive difference in his life. He blamed the world for his misfortune, and at that moment began his life of crime. The Lion of War was born. But in the present day, he can't fathom why a shameless bandit like himself has been saved aboard the ark. He can't see a purpose for his life to be continued, and feels he should have been destroyed in the flood.
Rebekah and Noah are able to fill in some of the blanks for Boaz. The same woman he had driven away, Jasmine, had later wandered into their village, half dead from heat stroke and starvation. She told them of her relationship with Boaz, and that she was carrying his child. Try as they might, when her time came, there was no way to save her, but the child survived, Boaz's child, Eliana. She was given to Rachel and Shem to care for until such time as he returned, so this was the reason he was still alive. Not only will the ark's inhabitants look to him for leadership in the new world, but he has a daughter who will also need him. And while the initial shock is overwhelming, Boaz adjusts quickly to the facts and with renewed hope contemplates his future as a father and a vital member of the community.
Boaz is anxious to see the little girl he now knows is his daughter. In her room, Rachel tells him that the storm has been bothering Ileana and she's already in bed. But she urges him to stay and perhaps sing a lullaby while she checks on her sons. Not really accustomed to singing to little girls, Boaz gives it his best shot with the song Ileana. Asking God to calm the seas so his daughter can sleep, he begins gently.
Let the tempest that surrounds us fade into the deep. Still the turmoil that confounds and makes the women weep.
He speaks softly at first, but his warlike persona comes out as well.
Never walk with trepidation. They can smell your fear.
Never show them supplication. They can taste each tear.
Cultivate a mighty swagger. Bristle like a bear.
He uses fists, you'll use a dagger. Stop him then and there. Realizing that the villain he refers to is actually himself, Boaz humbly finishes the lullaby.
Ileana, I implore you. Here I stand, contrite, before you. I will be a better man. That you can trust. I know I must. I will make you proud. I swear. Little answer to my prayer.
As it turns out, Ileana was playing possum. She's been awake the whole time. She and her father have an enlightening conversation, culminating in Boaz's first real laughter in the show.
Rebecca is alone in her room when God, accompanied by the beam of light, speaks to her. It's a very casual chat. We learn that she was the primary contact and that Noah, wise as he is, was just a figurehead. With one more bolt of lightning, God changes the half-animals back into whole people, stops the storm, and the ark finds landfall.
As the Noah contingent walks down the gangway and into their new lives, they begin the finale, Two of Every Kind reprise.
The whole moon she has set fate, a better than rich plan.
And we knew that they'd be willing to produce a couple chillin'.
But I sort of thought they'd wait till we hit land. Then come the animals. First, the real ones. And then the villagers, dazed and with wisps of lightning-induced smoke emanating from their clothing. Once again, the big finish.
Two of every kind, together we can do it, and through it all we've come to find that home is just a state of mind. Our lives forever intertwined with two of every kind, two of every kind, two of every kind.
Hey, you still with us? Terrific. We consider Two of Every Kind to be a work in progress. We've got many ideas for changes and variations, but by and large, this is the show we've created. Failing that, whatever advice or assistance or encouragement you could offer would be exceedingly helpful. We're just trying to get it out there. So, thank you very much for the time you've given and listening to our little pitch.